Let's take a moment and we'll check out the dimmer, illumination, and brightness settings on Pioneer's DEH-X2700UI. The simplest way to operate the dimmer on this head unit is to press and hold the back button right here. So right now we have the radio at its brightest setting that you would use during daylight hours. If we want to dim the radio, we can press the back button for a couple of seconds, and we'll see that the dimmer turns on now. And now the dimmer is set to its dimmest setting, and that is something what you would use at nighttime. Press and hold the back button again for a couple of seconds, and that'll turn the dimmer off. Now let's look at the individual settings for the dimmer and the brightness. To get there, we're going to press in on the volume control, and let's roll over until we find the illumination menu. Okay, here's the illumination menu. We can press enter, and inside the illumination menu we have two different settings. We have the dimmer setting and we have the brightness settings. Let's start with the dimmer settings. Now we'll press enter here, and we can synchronize the clock with the dimmer, which means set the dimmer on a timer to turn on in the evening and off in the morning, or we can have the dimmer work manually. To manually work the dimmer, that's what we did at the start of the video. That's pressing and holding this button to turn it on and off. To have the dimmer set on and off with the clock, we're going to choose the sync clock setting. We'll press enter there, and we have right now the dimmer is set to turn on at 6:30 p.m. Let's press enter, and we can make this 8 o'clock p.m. So there, we'll make it 8:30 and press enter and roll over until we see 00. Now the dimmer will turn on at 8 p.m. If we press enter one more time, the dimmer will turn off in the morning at, right now it's set to 6 a.m. Let's make that 7 o'clock, or 7:30 a.m. So there's 7, press enter here and roll over till we find 7:30. Now the dimmer will turn off at 7:30 in the morning. Now we can press the band button to escape, and we're back out to the main radio. Now let's hit in on the volume control again and roll over till we find illumination. And we want to go to our brightness settings this time. So here's the brightness setting, and we're going to hit enter. Right now our brightness is set at 10, and that is with the dimmer turned off. All right, so I'm going to hit band to escape, and I'm going to turn the dimmer on now. So when I turn the dimmer on, I'm going to go back into my illumination settings and brightness settings, and the dimmer is set to 0. If this is too dim for me and I want to have it a little brighter, I'll set that brightness up to maybe 5. And now I'm going to hit escape, and my dimmer is still on. So now when I turn the dimmer off, I get the full brightness of the radio. When I turn the dimmer back on, it'll drop. The brightness will drop, but it'll drop to level 5, which is a little better for me. Choose the dimmer settings that work best for you.